Thanks for reminding me. Here, Loot. Thanks for the 100 biddies. How you doing? Okay, I'm going live right now. On YouTube. Whoops. Whoopsies. Okay, we're live now on YouTube. Yeah, I think yellow paint does belong in games. In certain games. And by certain, I mean most games. Because... yeah. I think in this game it makes sense. Because I'm not trying to make the levels like a puzzle. I don't want them to be like a puzzle. And there are instances where I think I'm being obvious with the direction of where to go, but in reality I'm not. So it's like, oh shit, well, okay, gotta make it even more obvious as to where to go. So that's an interesting things I'm learning. Yellow paint or big green arrow? Dude, I'm telling you, there are big arrows, and some people miss the arrows entirely. So it's like, shit. But yeah, learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm a big learner kind of guy. Okay, so ignoring that, let's go back to our doors. Why is our door, at least this one, getting all kinds of messed up? Just add an autoplay feature? Yeah, now you're talking. Now you're talking my language. I genuinely don't understand why my doors are getting messed up. I don't. I don't know why they're getting messed up. Whoops, I'm searching in the wrong place. Honestly, man, why are these metal? Just make it wood. Stop playing. Just make it wood. There we go. You want a pizza? More of a mirror's edge sucker, so I want confusing red color across a verse that's both a non-leading color for static meshes and leading the way. Yes, runner's vision. My favorite. Why are the doors getting fucking... Oh, wait. The scale of this door is -1. So our channel banner logo, and it looks pretty dope. Am I a Deadpool fan? The logo wasn't really in reference of Deadpool. Deadpool's cool. I don't know if I'd say like I'm a fan, I guess, in the sense of like a consistent fan, I guess, but Deadpool is still cool. That logo was made a long time ago. It's been such a long time. It's been such a long time. Is there like a collision box in front of this that I don't know about? No. Well, that's not the one I was hitting. Was it hitting the interact box? Visibility set to overlap. Hmm. I'm going to toggle the breakpoint, and what we're going to do is whichever level this is under, we're going to keep it loaded so I can test this out. Where are you? You are a part of upper rooms. So we're going to go on ahead, make it so that's always loaded. I got to remember to switch that back or else this level's broken. we do not want a broken level. That would suck. And now it magically works. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Is it something in here? Man, I don't know. What if we do 0.2 seconds? How long does this timeline last again? 0.6 seconds. Maybe we should set this to a timer instead of a delay. Maybe the delays just has fucking inconsistent issues. Why is that happening? Why is it not being kicked properly? A0, B negative 20. What's this? 9. Oh, it's setting itself to plus 20. And then overtime minus 20. That doesn't make any sense. Do you think aiming's not necessary in this game? What do you mean by aiming's not necessary? Krim, I got a dev question for you. What would be your preferred way of getting specific info from a data table? Example I use is use a line trace to look at a static mesh. By looking at said mesh, I want info to be filled in on a widget. I got it working, but I think I have it in a very unofficial way. What would be your preferred way of getting specific info from a data table? Use a line trace to look at a static mesh. By looking at said mesh, I want info to be filled in on a widget. I think it depends. What's the static mesh? Is it an item? Like an item or something? I would maybe make it so that mesh is a separate actor. And then on startup or whenever that thing loads in, it would grab from the data table and immediately just set it. You could also use a data asset. I've been using data assets a little bit more, but I still like data tables. Yeah. Is it this plus value that's causing the door to get stuck in the doorway? See, like there, what the heck happened there? It just went limp. The door just went limp suddenly. It's almost like it's not getting the right vector value or something. Let's try this one. Does the door have collision to the door frame? We set static collision to false until after 0.2 seconds. After 0.2 seconds, it will set itself to true again. So then that way it ignores any objects around it while it gets kicked, and instead focuses on character interactions and whatnot. Man, I don't know. I think I need to do testing in a shipping build, because for some reason in a shipping build, it's like completely different. The door like when it gets kicked is like different. So it's a bit of a weird one. Good old Unreal Physics. Yeah, in this case, I hated Unreal Physics. The door used to only rely on physics, and it was awful. So I made a system that we just set the location ourselves, at least for the first 0.6 seconds, which is why you saw the door floating for a second there. When you kick this one, you can kind of see it float and then go down. Okay, so far it seems okay. There should be an aim assist for kicking doors like you do with enemies. Maybe? I don't know. So you could see the door kind of going through those objects, but I'm okay with that. I don't really give a shit. As long as they fulfill their gameplay purpose, that's what matters to me. If they can fulfill their gameplay purpose, that is the biggest concern for me. Hey, Evan, you know how to slider for how strong the aim assist, not just on or off? I could. Yeah, I could. I could do that. That could be something I can do. I could put it on the to-do list. Quality of life. Aim assist intensity, I guess. Coyote time, but for doors. What the hell? Did the decals just go null and now that's not happening in game, is it? Huh. What the oh, it's gone now. Huh? Is that the blood? It looked like the blood. It's it was a decal, so don't know what that was. Nice. It's compiling. It was compiling the blood. Or something. Okay, the door looks improved. Of course, though, it could potentially go through walls, but, I'll have to do some testing. We'll see if, it's improved at all. Here, let me see. We got Fred. Each country is a separate mesh. The line trace leads to this. I have a structure bound to the mesh to find the correct country. It's just not bound for debugging. Okay. Each country is a separate mesh, and then the line trace leads to this, which is the world map data table. Yeah, I don't know. I would. There's like 5 million ways you can do something, right, man? That's what I'd say. I don't know what you plan on doing with the countries. Like, I don't know. I'd say if does it work? Does it work? I'd say that's the biggest thing. Does it work? Does it work in the way that you need it to for you to be able to expand upon it and do the thing you need to? That's, I think, that's the biggest thing. Is if you can do the thing you need to do with it. And then if you feel that it is inefficient and stopping you from getting any work done, then, you know, reassess. But I don't know to what extent you need this stuff, right? So, like, I don't know. So I'd say if it works, it works. I guess the only, well, the thing is this is all already loaded anyways. I was going to say this probably would be better if it was a soft object reference, but it doesn't matter because either way you have everything loaded anyways right here. So that's something to consider. There's always a better way of doing something. You know what I mean? You know, you could make all of these actors have variables within them, but then someone might argue, but then you have all that data and every single thing has a variable already. It's probably better. Listen, man, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm not a programmer. I'd say if it works, it works. If it works, it works. I've won a game of Fortnite. You've grown. You turned 47 and Ronan is not out. Hey, I'm not 47 years old. I don't even look 47. If anything, I look younger now. I look like I need to show my ID at an alcohol place. Like, that's how young I am now. Like, they probably ask for my ID. Will you ban me yet? It won't let me type on Twitch. Why can't you type on Twitch? What'd you do? What'd you do? What the hell did you do? Here's Zahib. Looking great for 47. I'm not 47. I mean, I can, but they aren't showing up on stream, so I don't know. Maybe I am banned. I don't see any of your messages on Twitch, so I think you did you do an oopsie, man? What kind of oopsie did you do? All right, where are we at for V 1.0.12? Is banning similar on YouTube? I don't know. YouTube does it weird. YouTube's like hide from channel or something. I don't know. So we have two things we need to do before we can release this. We need to localize some text, which is just thingy. Yeah. You know, when you take a sniper rifle, despite the power, has no difference than a handgun. It, if you are using the not default gun, there, like, hold on, let me go back. The sniper rifle can penetrate enemies, similar to the default weapon's ultimate. So if you're not using the default weapon, the sniper can be beneficial for getting things done there. That's the main difference. Is that it can penetrate enemies, which I think that's the only gun that can do that. The only secondary weapon that can do that, at least. All right, what else can we get done? Dying while completing a level causes a soft lock. Need to figure out why that's happening. Music not resetting on trains. I think I gotta get more details on this. Music not resetting on trains. I think that's when you try to replay the level, it doesn't show the music anymore for some reason. I think that's a case of restarting the level doesn't, I think that's what that is. I've noticed that now the animation changed for holding a shotgun. He used to hold it in the left hand, pistol on the right. Now he puts it on his back. Is that? Yeah, when you use the deagle, it's a different animation because I don't know when the player will ever use their dual wield. So if I had it so the shotgun was in the other hand, it bugs it, and now the shotgun's fucking... So, it does adjust it when you're using the deagle specifically. Is first person available? There is third person and top down. There is no first person. I'm sure a modder will probably fuck around with it. But it probably won't look great unless they make an entirely new animation system. Which, honestly, at that point... I don't really see first person being very beneficial for this game, especially with the melee combat and everything. I feel like you kind of lose out on some of the elements of the game, but... I'm sure a modder will probably fuck around with the idea. What am I working on? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what I'm working on. Add an input hotkey for toggle HUD. We might as well do that now. We might as well do that now, actually. I don't even know if there's an actual input for it. Toggle HUD. Hide UI Z. That's not the right one. That is a different button. Toggle HUD. Nope, we don't have one. We're going to create one. Default H. And then the gamepad doesn't have a button for that. And then let's go ahead and add that to our UI. Ah! I don't know why that happens. Okay. Let's go ahead. Paste that in here. Now, where would this go? Toggle HUD. I don't know. Somewhere. Maybe we can leave it at the bottom. Toggle HUD, and then for the input, we're gonna want action name toggle HUD. Okay, and it already works. So now we just need to hook it up to the actual button because it's not hooked up right now. I don't know where that is. It's the letter H. Might be in the player controller. H input. Shit. What about just H? H. Blah, 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 blah. Where is H? It's checking everything with the letter H in it. I don't think it's in here. Comma? J? Any key? Oh, no, it's not in here. So what about in here? Right bracket. HUD. Aha! I found it! Good. Very good. Can I make a suggestion that if you pick up another weapon when he's using the deagle dual wield, he throws the second deagle away and continues to hold it in the second hand? Would make you lose the deagle sometimes. I'm certain that would piss off a lot of players if I did that. So. It would piss off a lot of players. Like, oh hey, I picked up a gun, now I lost my dual wield. Do you use any C++ or is the entire game in Nodes? I use some C++, but most of it is in Blueprint. No, I get you, Bluebird. It's just a workaround, unfortunately. I think the game should have an aiming button like Max Payne has. It looks weird when your player is aiming all the time. I don't think we should like make the game more complicated by having more buttons that you have to press, especially considering the game is like meant to be extremely fast paced. I could add an ADS in, but it would just be for people that really want to have like an ADS. But in reality, I don't really think it would add anything to the game by doing that. If anything, it would just make the game more complicated, more buttons that you have to handle, especially on controller. There's already all of the buttons basically taken up with the melee systems and all that stuff. So you can't create a good game only on blueprints? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can. Like 99% of the game is in Blueprint. There's some C++ because you need it in some scenarios, because sometimes you don't have something that's exposed and whatnot. And that's inevitable. Especially in UE5, you definitely should have even like very slight basic C++ knowledge just to get some like... my biggest tip is don't use Blueprint struct or enums anymore in UE5 because they are gonna kill things. Do you have any plans for updating the game as it gets more popular? Well, I'm updating the game right now, so. So, in terms of like content, I don't know. But I'm going to try to figure out some mod support. Figure out how I can make modding more flexible. But, yeah. Oh, please tell me more about the struct and enums in UE5. There's a high chance that you end up corrupting so much of your project by using blueprint enums and structs. I don't know what happened, but they're just so much more like rocky now. Is there a way to make it toggleable or maybe restrict to the higher difficulties? I don't know if I want to get too complicated with that sort of stuff. I can maybe look into it so the animation only changes, or like the where the gun is only changes when you pick up or when you do dual wield. I can maybe do that. I can maybe do that. Did I ever hear of Unreal Tournament? I've heard of Unreal Tournament, but I didn't really play too much Unreal Tournament, to be honest. Or Quake. Or Doom. I never really played too much of those games, to be honest. Level editor. I probably wouldn't go as far as a level editor, but I think it'd be cool to release some sort of like a dev kit. An Unreal like template that has like all of the blueprints there, and then people can export levels. A level editor, unfortunately, I thought about it. I think it'd be sick to work on. It would be a lot of work, which is the problem. But the problem is you can't build navigation without turning on dynamic navigation, and that eats a lot of performance. And you can't build lighting, which sucks. So that's why I think just going down the route of modders creating the levels within Unreal itself is probably the way to go. And then they can easily just export the pack files and then have that be routed into like a built-in map loader or something. I think that's probably like the way to go, to be honest. Yeah, what is that? How's game dev going today? I think it's going pretty, I think it's going pretty well. I think it's going pretty well. I think it's going pretty well, I think. Mm-hmm. Am I going to be going back to Ronin in the future? Potentially, Carrie. Potentially. I think what I would do with Ronin is I would do the combat system stuff that I wanted to do in this game, but is too complicated to try to put in this game and it would cause too many bugs. So I'd rather like put it towards another project. And I think Ronin is a good one to do that. Some like more advanced, maybe like I've been saying it in a couple streams before, some active ragdoll stuff could be really fun with enemies. Maybe more advanced grappling system could be really fun. Being able to like throw enemies over railings and shit. That could be really fun. Some little things like that I'd love to play around with for the next game. A noir story action game. I think that's the interesting thing. If we can make the map loader, you know, if we can make the system for modders to like make levels relatively straightforward. There are some very complicated things to make levels in this game, unfortunately. But if I can make it more straightforward for modders, we could have people like making entire like, I don't know if people would go this far, but like they could go as far as like making their own like storylines and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that could be pretty sick. Now, unfortunately, I think one thing that would occur, let me make sure I set these back to blueprint before I forget. One thing that I don't know if I could do for modders is like having their own like location on the map. It would be like a spot that says custom. But it would be cool if modders could have their own fucking like entire locations. Like that could be sick. Which you could technically do. Like you could technically do that. You could. But, yeah. I wonder how much money you'd get if I spent 750 Turkish lira? I don't know. You have more experience in before Super. Right. I think one problem I had when I was working on Ronin is I was still basically a noob. I'm still a noob, just not as much of a noob. Still a noob, just not as much as before. You can translate this game to other languages. It already is. It already is. English, French, Japanese, simplified Chinese, Spanish, Latam, Turkish, German, Korean, Portuguese, Russian, Ukrainian. Yeah. The whole list. I got to test a very early version of the Oculus Rift. They had a custom map for Unreal Tournament. UE Tournament was... Unreal Tournament was in VR? I didn't even know that was. How's the map screen set up? Is each country actual SVG and highlightable? It's just one big texture for the map itself. And then there's just like little pins with an actor associated to it. And then it's just a widget component. That's basically it. The most dummy-proof system. Get a custom UE out without resources. See, the thing that, luckily for me, Maltello, with this game is that we don't use a custom version of UE. So I have to send an email to Epic to see, like, if it's allowed for me to literally just release a very simplified version of the project. No marketplace assets and none of that. It's just a simple version that has, like, some of the blueprints with, like, a small, like, maybe, like, a box volume just to see, like, the sizes of stuff. And then, like, empty actors for the enemies. So then that way you can place them in a scene, you know? And then just fucking export that. I'm curious because I don't know if I have to put it on Epic Game Store. It would be annoying if I'd have to. I would love to just, hey, here's the fucking project. Just make sure you get 427 installed. And that's about it. Tech showcase where a bunch of companies had booths to show their products. I was the only person who knew what Oculus was. That's funny. Tried it out and smashed the world record. And to this day, still the world record holder. The record holder. Other games have slimmed down UEs available for download. I think Hello Neighbor has one. It's just the regular engine with some of their things as starter content. Right. Does Hello Neighbor just have it like directly on Steam? Or they don't show mod support in here. Unless it's Hello Neighbor 2? They don't have it here either. How does that work? Is it just on Epic Game Store? Kind of like how they have everything else? Yeah, I wonder to what extent requires you to upload your dev kit on Epic Games, the Epic Game Store instead of other places. Because people could just share projects on GitHub. So I don't get it. I don't know when and where it's required to have it on Epic Game Store. That's a question that I need to get out of the way. I don't want to get in legal trouble with Epic. That's the last thing I want to deal with right now. They all told me to get into game dev, but I never did. How much of game dev is revolving around math? I don't know. You kind of figure it out over time. I hated math in school, but I think as you do it a little bit more, even as just basic math, you kind of just, you know, just like any skill, you get used to it. There's math. I don't do too much because, like, the nice thing with Unreal Engine is a lot of the big math stuff I don't have to deal with too much. I'm kind of a noob. So. Okay. Back with the questions. I'm working on my project in Godot and plan on using Blender for modeling and animation. Do you have any tips or suggestions that help? I don't have anything for importing into Godot. Not sure what the workflow is like for importing animations into Godot. So I'm not sure there. I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel going through like game asset workflows, but none of it related to animation specifically. And none specifically to Godot workflow, but like you can still use some of the workflows there. They're all, you know, they can all work for any engine, generally. Okay, so we have the button for toggle HUD. Let me make sure it works. Okay, now let's change the button. So H is the default. Let's make it M. Okay, nice. It works. Cool. All right. But yeah, geometries can be helpful. But honestly, while you work on stuff, you can figure it out. I do a lot of like... Stop making that noise. We need to limit the amount of times they can make sound effects. Whoa! Did I make sure to... I think I did, right? To disable those levels again? Okay, good. Whew! Hell yeah, Tay, and good luck, man. You should add a confirmation. Are you sure you want to bind this key? I don't want to have too many confirmations. I think the only thing I would want to have a confirmation on is if you change something in here. Right? And you didn't hit save and then you try to exit out. I think the thing is when you hit apply, that... It does show that. Wait, hold on. We do have an undo. So how is it that... How is it that people are not saving, like their shit is not saving when we pop up? You should want to close and undo changes. Wait, hold on. How is that happening? Maybe we change something here, but then we go here, and then we change something, and then we... No, it still shows it. How is it that people were missing the save button? Maybe it's not happening in-game. Maybe that menu's not showing up. Anyways, whatever. I wonder how many people have 100% completion on legendary difficulty. Been stuck on Ocean Drive for like a week or two. It's so hard. On legend? I think I saw a video of someone S+ing a bunch of the levels on legend, actually. Maybe just get rid of the apply or save buttons since they're interchangeable. The only problem is the video settings menu is a bit different than all the other menus because some of these could completely brick your ability. Like, let's say you change a setting that causes an issue for you. I guess if it causes an issue, you wouldn't be able to hit save. But I completely forgot that this pops up. So I'm not sure how people were having problems with this menu. I gotta check in game. Maybe in game that menu doesn't pop up somehow. It's possible. Like, it's possible that it's just not showing up. Let's see. If I hit 60 and then I try to exit out. Yeah. If I hit escape twice, it like closes it. Huh. Maybe they change their settings and hit apply so it doesn't save. Maybe it's possible that maybe in game it functions differently. Ah. Hold on, hit apply. Ah, that's what it is. I think that's what it is. So let's write this down as a bug. It's not like priority, but... Undo changes UI pop doesn't appear on settings menu while in game. That's weird. I don't know why that's not happening, but you know. I always get to the ramping it up and die. You do every level on Legends, just that one is so hard. There's a couple like cheese spots where you can probably like the area behind the DJ. You could probably use that spot as a way to like funnel enemies in. And then that could be a way to get past that level if you're having trouble on Legend. I don't think the enemies should spawn behind you there. I don't think. Oh, someone did report a bug. I think it was on Steam. That on Legend difficulty, hitting the restart button doesn't replenish their ammo? Which is problematic. Okay. I'm just seeing what else we could potentially pick up in here. We do have a couple other things I need to fix in here. Hiding the HUD issue, but that one's going to be a little bit longer to fix. The infinite loop crash, no clue how to reproduce that one. That one's been... I haven't, like, I came across it once, and I was not able to reproduce it, so... This one, I don't think I can reproduce. All of these other ones, I believe I can reproduce, so no issue there. Yeah. And Rock Zombie? What's the note-taking app you're using? It's called Notion. N-O-T-I-O-N. I gotta think through the idea for what are we gonna do for the enhanced enemies mode, which will be like an added difficulty. Maybe we make the enemies like if you get close to them, they attack you no matter what, even if they don't have attack priority. And then like, I don't know, give them roids. Maybe make them faster. We can make the enemies faster or something. Make him go Hotline Miami speed. Before some updates, there were like 9 people here. Now it's 16. I don't look at the view count number. Anyal, thank you for the prime. I don't know if you pronounce it that way. Anyal. I usually, when I see J, I usually see a Y. So thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Yeah, we need to change the manor entrance area. That one's a bit of a... Enemy quantity discrepancies in the level. I don't know if this is still happening anymore. We'll put this under haven't attempted to reproduce. This is one we need to fix at some point. For some reason, there are periods where the gambler modifier doesn't reset. We also need to, I need to put another task in here for the bloodthirsty. Needs to be revamped a bit as well. Quick restart button, right. Some people have been asking for a button to be able to quickly restart the game. We could have a button. I just have to make sure that I don't break anything by doing that. I've been having the itch to try out OSRS, and I don't know why. There's a bunch of like streamers that are starting to play OSRS. I've been wanting to maybe start an Iron Man, but the problem with OSRS, man, is it's a time sink. It's a huge time sink. There's some places where you can't dive through the glass. Is that a design choice or a bug? It depends where. I need to make it so if you're diving through a window that hasn't been like damaged enough, then it'll still break. That's one thing that is just like a design flaw in that respect. Other than that though, when you dive through a window, like let's say you dive through the window in the cathedral, some people are saying that they couldn't dive through the windows, so I do want to see what's going on there. Oh. Okay. I keep hearing how it takes like hundreds of hours to max out a few skills. I think it's still a very fun game. It's just, yeah, once you get to the grinding part, it's not very fun. Yeah, some people were telling me that they literally could not get through the windows. I guess we're maybe right there. Maybe that was what they were coming across. He crouched, he dodged. Wasn't there a guy in here? Am I going crazy? Okay. They struggle getting through this door. It's hilarious. Oh yeah, this level, all of the enemies. In the current current version on Steam, every enemy just gets aggroed. And in the next version, it'll be a little better. Do you need the membership to play all the content? Yes, yeah, you do. Otherwise, you just get some of the free content. That's just like a few zones. You basically miss out on like 95% of the game basically. The free version, I think, is good to start with. It gives you a little bit of like a taste of the game. And honestly, I recommend just playing with a free character for a bit. You know, I think that's a good thing to do either way. I think you're handsome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. In Ocean Drive, the second stage, you can't dive through any of the glass. It might be that you have to like shoot it first to you might have to shoot it first to be able to go through it. I think that's a change we could potentially make. I'm maybe the minority that plays top-down view, but I know it's sometimes tough to jump through those windows, or maybe it's just a skill issue on my part. There should be... So something in the game that might not be working on these windows specifically. There should be a system that essentially... sometimes it fucks up, so maybe I need to look into it a bit more. There should be a system that essentially is supposed to lead you through the window. So maybe I need to make some improvements there. Maybe it's like kind of fucked. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Like you can see it's kind of leading me through, but it's not doing it as consistently as I'd like it to. Spent like 3 streams on that jump assist. It was working perfectly fine before, and then I must have made some changes to it that broke it. So it's like right there, you can see it's trying to lead me. Let's fix that. Why is that happening? I changed some stuff somewhere, and then it just... for some reason, not working. It's really annoying. Very infuriating. Where's Dive? Dive? Where are you, Dive? Here you go. Determine dive intent. We'll figure this out. Wait, where's the timer for diving? Where is it? Oh, check for dive. There it is. There it is. There it is. And then we go through here. Determine dive intent, so it happens in here. So let's see what's going on in top down. See, like right there, I feel like it should be able to do its thing. They're big clips. Yeah, we have a... So... the assist will basically determine where it should go. It's just, I made some changes that I think kind of broke it. You can see that there's that green sphere that pops up. That's basically the system like, oh, hey, here's an opening. Let's try to go through this opening. But sometimes it doesn't do it properly, which is really annoying. You can see sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. I think it's the initial animation. The initial beginning of the dive is not going in the right direction. I think that's what's going on. Yeah. Hey, hell yeah, Big Clips. Hope the release is going well. Did you comment your work? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I should. Thank you so much because you made a game which is 3x better than some of these new AAA games because it's just simply fun to play. Keep up with it. Hey, thank you, ASD, AASD, AD, Dad. ASD, AASD, Dad. Oh, wait, whatever, man. I tried. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're enjoying it. A lot of code and things here. I wonder how much day per month / year you spent on Unreal Engine. I think I spent like 12 years using this engine so far. And Ori? First of all, your game's amazing. Seriously, I've always dreamed of a game like this since I'm a huge fan of the John Wick movies, but I noticed something that doesn't seem very logical, and I was wondering why. The Desert Eagle doesn't penetrate armor, even though it should. Just look at the gun from the beginning, which also has armor-piercing ability. Are you considering adding a multiplayer mode where the lobby would be like the Continental? Multiplayer, probably not. Yeah, the Desert Eagle doesn't penetrate armor because it would make it like way too OP. Because right now it basically gives you 14 bullets. Each time you get a clean suit, it replenishes the entire gun. So in essence, if you're not like dumping your bullets too much, you basically have infinite ammo. So I want to keep the armor penetration specifically for the primary weapon because I feel like that, you know, I want to keep each weapon having their own unique flavor, I guess. But yeah, I might make it so in third person I adjust the popping off the elites, killing the elites in one hit. I might increase the distance a little bit because the depth perception is different in third person versus top down. I might change that a little bit because I feel like enemies, you have to get like really up close in third person, even though in top down is actually like, it seems a lot farther away. I might change that. So yeah. Yeah, thanks. I don't know if I'll ever do multiplayer, sadly. Don't think I'll ever get to multiplayer. Did I use C++ or only the Blueprint system? There's a little bit of C++. There is a tad of C++. So it is determining the dive intent. It's just not starting the dive the way I want it to. Found dash assist true, multiply by 4 before dash velocity. What the hell is going on? Maybe it's the dash that's causing an issue. I don't know. Can you give me a short description on your game? A short description, action. Guns. Beating the shit out of things. That's about it. And that is the description. Been a while since I got your stream, but I got super hard during this the summer sale, and I love it. Great work. Thank you. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. John Wick meets Max Payne. Yeah, I guess that's one way of going through it. How I like to see it is it's just like just a bunch of action movies and games in one turducken. Why is this not going the way I want it to? Also, I don't know why it's determining it to jump there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, let's do this real quick. It is, for some reason, returning 0? What? Found dash assist. Why is it... Wait, what? Advance a single frame. Okay, now it's giving us values. A lot of huge values, actually. Enormous. Maybe that's the problem. It's like returning enormous values. And that's probably because we're like multiplying it and multiplying it again, even though it's already multiplied. I think that's our problem. And maybe that's fucking up the clamp and we're not getting proper values. That might be it. Maybe. Because technically it's already being multiplied by its vector length, so I don't think we need to multiply it again. Unless somehow I zeroed it out. I don't think I did. Over the top 1900s movie game. Yeah. I just like to view it as a whole bunch of action media in one. Hold on, let's try the other... Try the other windows real quick. Oh! I think it's hitting the glass. Well, now it's a door, so I'm trying to dive through a door. That one is hitting... Every time I see a Kindred stream, he's always adding some wacky stuff to magic and stuff. He can't let go, man. He can't let go. He cannot let go. Maybe I need to change the Z height of this. He's adding Twitch support? Interesting. Have I thought about adding the ability to jump to a wall and breaking it? We don't have breaking through a wall, but we have shooting walls. Not breaking through a wall, though. Never thought about that. I should do that, though, because that could be fun. Well, actually, we have the C4 that breaks a brick wall, but it's not like the same as like breaking through like a drywall or something. So maybe we need to determine the dive height from higher up. This one's fine, but maybe what about the other node. Where is it? Determine dive intent. Okay, so we do plus 45. What if we maybe increase that to like 75? Maybe that's fine. I don't know. Let's see. It's so weird. It is determining where to dive, but we are not diving through it. You can kind of tell the character is trying to compensate. See, there it did the right thing. There it did the right thing. There it did the right thing. There it kind of did the right thing. There, I have no fucking idea why it's being set there. Is there like a wall missing here or something? Does the game know something I don't? Yeah, sometimes it works and then sometimes it doesn't. Really annoying. Maybe I'm like too close to the wall, so I end up hitting the wall? I don't know. Weird. Weird, very weird. Oh, wait, I wanted to test going through the glass window. Hold on, let's go back to there. I think I wanted to test this entire time. Right, trying to go through the glass windows. Is it still... Uh-huh, right. Right, totally. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, totally. Right. Maybe we should just remove this bed. You know, fuck this bed. This bed's an asshole, you know? Right against the glass window and everything. You know, just move the damn bed, man. The bed's being annoying. I don't want to move this too high, but plus 75 is not like that high, so I might be able to do plus 85, which is around, I think, the head. I think that's around the height of the head. Which would make sense. You'd have a window at the height of your head, right? So... the thing I don't know is which part is failing. Is it trying to dive through that's failing? Or is it the height that's failing? I wonder. Where is the problem occurring? Let's multiply this by 2, perhaps. Dive input direction. Maybe I forgot to put a vector somewhere? Knowing me, that's probably what happened. Dive input direction, normalize, multiply by 160. Dive input direction, launch character. Huh. You know, Vex. Short description, Max Payne gunplay, John Wick melee. My description is just action! Action! And a couple bugs here and there, sometimes, you know, occasionally. But I'm figuring out that one. We're polishing that one out a little bit. The occasional walking cockroach appears on stream. Or in the game. That's what I meant to say. Is it the sphere trace that's fucking it all up? We do have it showing for duration, so we see it. I noticed this, actually, this system works best when it's not hitting anything. See, like in third person is a lot easier because you can kind of just aim it. But in top down, we don't got that kind of luxury. Well, you do, kind of, but not as much as third person. But then over here, it breaks a bit. Oh wow, that line trace is actually really tall. Maybe a little bit too tall, actually. It's a little high up. That doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it is like clearly failing to figure out where it should go, which is kind of funny because it's quite clear where it should go. I wonder if this is the problem. Oh, we set the capsule radius to something smaller. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if this launch velocity is causing it to fuck up a little bit. I don't know. I do not know. Look at this all cleared up. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it worked great. Other times it doesn't work great. It's quite the conundrum. Right now, it's working great. Right now, right now, you know what it is? It can sense fear. Or it can sense the impending doom that's coming for it when I delete all this fucking code. What? Why is it setting its location right there? Ah. I see. I think. It's hitting this door right here. And then it's averaging it where it hit the door. Oh. Interesting. Really? Really? Remove the door, case closed. Well, you know, it's not really a fix, but it's not really a fix, but case closed, but door open. We could open the door. Guys, that's not a fix. That's not a fix. That's duct tape. Duct tape if the duct tape was wet. Okay? Our averaging system. We need to fix our averaging system. Mm-hmm. 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 What we should try to find is a trace that is this could be a case of, I think we made the distances for the traces too far. And in doing so, we broke things. Sadness comes out. So we can make that 450, but that is not exactly the fix. The fix would be figuring out how we can average this out in a better way. Ow, my neck. Oh, so this is plus 45 still, which is incorrect. We need to be plus 85. I don't know if that's going to make a fix, but you know what, fuck it. Not sure if that'll fix anything, but we can try. Mother... What are you doing? Why are you going there? There's literally... There's no reason as to why... What is wrong with you? Maybe instead of averaging all of the points, maybe we should only average the ones that are free. But then how do you average that out? How? It like sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. It's a bit infuriating. Let's go back to the door. Which one was it? Was it this one? Was it that one? Listen, guys, I got work I need to do, okay? You need to get out of the way. Oh, it's this one. Chalk it up to a skill issue and call it a day. Not a skill issue, it's my game being an asshole. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See, like, there it worked just fine. 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 Why does the game hate me? Also, I'm pretty sure these are supposed to fade out when the camera's in front of them. I don't know. Oh yeah, let's move that bed, man. Get that bed out of here, man. It's pissing me off. That bed is pissing me off. Where am I? Where's the levels? Bring back the levels. It's not funny. Unreal. Don't make that joke. Okay, first off, why are these not disappearing? They're not masked. Well, that would explain that one. This also does not have... I see. Okay. Okay, so the only thing that does not have the masking is this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. Apply. This is probably going to compile a lot of shaders, if I were to guess. Or not, I guess. All right, set that to masked real quick. Stallcraft. I've been curious about that game. Is that the kind of Minecraft Tarkov? Excuse me for my ignorance. That's the Minecraft Tarkov, isn't it? Minestalker. Minecraft Stalker. Okay, that should be improved, I think. Yeah, all right. I guess. He broke everything. Guys, the project has corrupted. I can't do anything about it. I don't know what to do. Guys, I literally, it's gone. It's all gone. Everything just exploded. No, don't laugh at that. That's not funny. What if that actually happened? Let me make sure it all saved. It did indeed. It did indeed. I back up my U projects whenever I close them. I have source control, so it's not an issue. Can you understand all of that on the crash message? Like ideally what you'd want to do is look at the actual log. But it is a bit of a game of trying to figure out what the fuck happened. There it said it had memory leaks, but I think it's an editor side crash. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Like, I can look at the logs, and then I can look at the most recent one, which seems to be this one. Although this might have overwritten. Let's see, where is the crash? Wait, hold on. I think it's this one. Is this the, yeah, there we go. 7 leak objects and packages. See the output above. So it was something in the cathedral that caused it to crash during garbage collection, which is weird. Yeah. Something in the cathedral. I've corrupted early projects without backing them up, live and learn. Listen, with any major project, the first thing I do is, after starting up the U project, I immediately open up a DigitalOcean server to start backing it up. That is one of the very first things that I do. These days, that would be like one of the very first things. Oh, would you look at that? It seems like the memory leak is a garbage collection issue. Waha! Who would have thought? Of course, well, I guess that makes sense because that's where probably most memory leaks would lie. Yeah, anyways. My eyes! Oh. Do I use GitHub or Git? Well, I guess all forms... Well, Git is like an overarching concept, right? Isn't that what it is? I use Perforce, which I think is a type of Git. It's a type of source control or version control. There's so many terminologies, man. You get lost. I get lost. You know, there's so many different terminologies and whatnot. I just use Perforce and then a server. And that's basically it. Oh, right. So what I wanted to try is... do those things fade out as they should now? Yes. I'm sure players would appreciate this occurring. So they can see the game in top-down. And then in third person... Okay. We're looking good, I think? For some reason, on first jump, this glass doesn't allow us to jump through it. Okay, it seems like it's improved, but I don't know, man. Who knows anymore? If I try to jump through the door, it'll lead me through the door. That one, I don't even know what happened. I think it was hitting something else. Literally don't know. I think this is one of the levels I actually used as a test for this whole system. We do recreate it every time, which is obviously not the most beneficial thing in the world. Not the greatest thing in the world. Okay. So why is my character jumping over there? That literally does not make any sense. There's an opening right here, game. Why? Is it because there's only one trace available? Maybe that's where that bug is occurring. There's only one trace that's open. It for some reason causes us to go to the left for some reason. Literally does not make any sense. I think that's the problem. Honestly, I wonder if it'd be a huge problem if we just do some more line traces. It's just a line trace. What's it gonna do? You know? Shoot me? I hope not. -4 and 4. Like, what if we do 8? No, wait, hold on. -8 and 8. So we double the amount of traces. And then we multiply this by 13. We probably want to do divide by 2. So 6.5. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Oh, then it has to loop through every hit. Oh, shit. I'm sure it's fine. Probably don't want to submit this, but let's just see what it looks like. Do we gain anything from doing that? Like, does it become a little bit more accurate? No, because clearly, like, my dumbass didn't jump through that. It's not that many traces. I think -8 to 8 is like what? Around 16, 17 traces, probably? And it's just vectors that are being held, nothing crazy. These windows, for some reason, are not, by default, they're not jumpable. Put it on tick. This is not something that will be fixed by putting it on tick, you know? This is not something that would get fixed by just putting it on tick. Everyone watching this is probably like, what the hell is all these green and red lasers? To that I say I agree. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh right, we were testing this spot specifically, making sure that it goes through the door. I think we'll still have the issue where if it's just a singular trace, it's like not gonna work. Isn't it just a skill issue if they can't hit the window? To an extent. To an extent. You'd be surprised how many games give you assists on things without you even knowing it. You'd be surprised. Like there, I think the only reason why I didn't go through the doorway is because it didn't get a second hit there. Probably explain that. Oh right, now that I made the traces too high, I think we run into the issue where the hit location... No, that is not... That doesn't make any sense. No, I don't think that's... Here. Determine dive height. Plus 85 on the location for the dive height. How about we, let's try 75. Plus 75. It's probably going to break a lot. It's probably going to break a lot of things. No, don't go in here. Yeah, video games give you, there's a lot of hidden little assists that games give you. Very, very hidden. Extremely, extremely subtle. Get this door out of the way. I'm trying to work here. Are you kidding me? Doesn't make any sense. Why is it that we're not jumping to the... You know what I think it is? It's this damn capsule. The capsule's being an asshole. And so when we find an opening, and if it hits anything, then it doesn't do the thing properly. Look at the look at the green. Look at the capsule coming. Wait, hold on. Now it's just working properly. I don't get it. This shit's bullshit. See, like right here. That right. Every time that thing hits something, it like seems to not work the way I want it to. Jude's blaming capsules now. He's lost it. When it comes to setting menu widget creation, did you know how to do it without creating the widget each time, or would you need a hand? I could probably figure it out if I want to. Like, I think what I would do is if I didn't want to create it each time, we'd just create it once on startup when you open up the pause menu, and then just set it to visible and invisible. And that would be one way of fixing it there. Let's change this. Instead of 42, let's do, I don't know, say like 36. Although, should we even be fucking doing this thing? You know what? You know what? Yeah, you know what? If we found a dash assist, or did not find a dash assist, then allow this to go through. Otherwise, get out of here. Get this motherfucker out of here. Because I think what's going on is that thing is hitting something, and then it's causing the launch that we specifically designed for this thing to break. Oh, guess I'll die then. Well, it tried its best there. You know, I can't blame it. It did try its best there. When making the capsule smaller, make it better to fit through the small windows or single door frames. It's funny, we actually, so because of that capsule that we were doing before, it actually would set the capsule to smaller. Huh, it seems like now we're not able to jump through the window, even though it is finding the spacing. It's just not able to jump through because of the Z height is not tall enough. But that is the dive height intent system. Maybe we bring that back to 85. Bring that bad boy back to 85. Put that bad boy back to 85. Whoa. I start with the physics animation stuff. Are you calling yours on a notify? Or are you doing that because right now it looks like ass? You'd probably only do that during like impact when they take damage. And then you'd want to quickly after a period of time probably clear it. But it is a lot of like messing around with the values and stuff. There's a lot of that. Do I have to mess around with the heights again? I think I might have to mess around with the heights again. Because, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Would changing the capsule collision channels temporarily screw things up? When you start getting into hacky territory like that, it can fix things and also cause a whole bunch of new problems. But I think we need to figure out a better way of determining what the jump height should be. I think we just need to do some better math. Also there, for some reason, even though we can clearly tell that there is a better location to go to, it's not going through it. Huh. It's working-ish. It's not working as well as I'd want it to, though. You know, it's working sometimes. There, it's for some reason not working, which makes no sense. We do change the capsule size though. When this hits something, that initial capsule check, and that's usually checking if you're like trying to go over top of like a barrier or something, we will change the capsule size a little bit. To how much, I don't know. We do change the size a bit. I don't know if setting the slow-mo will work. I think he just resets it. But I think very briefly we change his... How briefly, actually, do we change his... For 0.1 of a second, we change his radius from 32 to 42. Very specific. Oddly very specific. I think the thing that really annoys me about this diving system is that we are using physics, or like the character movement component, which is physics based. And I think I've learned something about gameplay. I kind of fucking hate physics. I kind of hate leaving gameplay systems to physics. I feel like 90% of the time it just fails. I don't know. At least in Unreal. I'm not sure about other games, but... or game engines. But I feel like every time I try to rely on physics for a system, like diving through things or wall running or whatever, I feel like it just shits the fucking bed. Yeah, never trust physics. It's almost as if you want to make like the dive system, just calculate it instead. Which I've tried to calculate it, but we're using physics. Now, these are magic numbers, so maybe I could find a better way of calculating the height of where I'd want to be. Same in Unity, trust me. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's certain things where physics is good, but then in other respects, I feel like it just kind of falls flat and causes more issues. Yeah. Anywho, it's a bit improved. We made it so it does more traces, so it's calculating a little bit more. Yeah. Physics is good if gameplay isn't relying on it. Right. I think Source Engine games, like Half-Life and whatnot, I think those games do it in a pretty good way, I feel like. Yeah, physics. Or just fake the physics. You make it look like physics, but it's not actually physics. It's all determined, coded systems. I feel like that just works so much better. Yeah. I think this still has room for improvement. Doing the diving, determining system stuff. What do you call the unarmed state for the character? So the reason why I haven't done the unarmed state, and I think you made a suggestion post for it, Mike. It's its own weapon. I know that's a weird thing. It's its own primary weapon. So, let me see. Where's unarmed? Unarmed. What did I call it? Weapon fists? Weapon... the fuck is it called? Weapon primary? Ah, primary fists. So the fists are its own weapon. And I guess if you wanted to mod in a system like that, you'd have to keep track of what their actual weapon is, and then you would keep switching their primary to their actual primary and their fists. That's probably what you'd have to do for a holster system. It would be pretty hacky. That being said, the unarmed system is pretty hacky in and of itself. And then, if I remember correctly... Oh, right, this system... Okay. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I guess what you'd have to do is... if you want to swap between the weapons, you'd have to keep track of which weapon they actually have. And then... every time you spawn this in, it's going to call gun begin play. So I guess, I don't know, from a modding standpoint, I don't know how that works, but I guess you'd have to override the event begin place, and then that way, instead of you having to keep recreating a new actor each time you want to swap, you'd have to instead just call this. But funny enough, the only thing that does is sets the static mesh. Yeah, I'd have to look at this weapon stuff. It's been a while. I'd have to look at it. But yeah, the idea is it's basically its own primary weapon. It's not like a separate state, which would have made that easier to put in like a holstering system. Yeah. How am I to cloth my character if I put a suit on him? It's just going to look like Superfire. It's a tricky one. Man, just do whatever you want to do. Don't feel held back. Definitely making a flashlight toggle. That I could probably put into the base game, to be honest. I know a couple people asked about that. So what do I need to do to release this patch? We need to test out the doors. And then we need to add some localization for the 3 new things that we added in. And then we have a couple bugs that we could potentially go into and look into these here. I need to figure out why this one's occurring. This one, I can probably figure out a workaround. This one might be a bit of a problem. There's quite a bit of work associated with this one, just because of how stupid my code is. Yep, yep. That's me being dumb, of course. Yep. I'm gonna organize this because it's kind of pissing me off seeing everything in random places. Okay, there we go. I feel a little bit better. How am I handling localization, by the way? I hired a company. I did hire a company for most of the initial stuff, but now that there's like additional text, honestly, I'm just kind of going into DeepL and just like throwing it in there. I am trying to compare it to other localization of like similar terminologies, like Crosshair we have in multiple places, so I'll just look at what the word is and then try to make sure that we're keeping it consistent. But for the most part, I did have a localization company do it. Yeah. Somehow though, on my end of implementing the localization, some of the text got scrambled. So some of the challenges are not the right thing, which is crazy. And I think that's because Unreal and Google Spreadsheet handles, for some fucking reason, they handle how they organize by letter or whatever. They handled it differently. So I think that must have fucked some stuff. Am I also creating the HUD widget each time? No, that one is I'm setting visible and hidden each time. The bug that's occurring here is when a HUD element is invisible, when you try to play animations on it, I think it's like not playing the animation, which is something I need to... I have some stuff tied to animation, which is not very good. So I need to decouple it so the animation is its own thing versus the actual combo system, which is, you know, my own stupidity. Anyways, I gotta eat. I'm hungry. And my throat is like really itchy. So I'm gonna head off here. Not the longest stream in the world. Hopefully I can, we can start, we're doing some longer streams soon enough. Just need to figure out my eating habits. New project soon? Soon, maybe. I don't know. Soon TM. There's a guy here? Sorry, Nash. I'll try to do a longer stream. Actually, I don't even know if I'll do a stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will do a stream tomorrow. I will see. Yeah. So, on that note, if I'm not here tomorrow, maybe I'll try to stream. No, I won't. I might be busy over the weekend. If I'm not here tomorrow, then have a great weekend and a great Friday. And I'll see you guys for sure on Monday, hopefully, as long as I don't have anything on Monday. I don't think I do. I'm not sure. I have to check. Okay. Goodbye. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. I gotta figure out this patch. No, and I'm hungry. See you later.